I'm recording this so I can send it to Nick and Tom later. Looks like at least Tom went in and did some notes on stuff. So I guess we'll just go through each section and discuss and make sure everything sounds good before we start doing anything different with our designs. So this first link is a site that Tom liked. And that's kind of based a little bit of what we changed on that. So if you guys want to have a look at it, that would be good. So starting would be with the menu. We've discussed lots of different issues with the menu and clients being unhappy with its functionality and stuff. So what we've come to is that we need to simplify the menu to have only the important pages that users are looking for in particular. And maybe in the future, try to discourage clients from asking for more things in the menu, because Casey said that happens really frequently where they want to add this and that to the menu, when the more complicated it gets, the less likely somebody's going to stay on the site. So that's the first point with the menu. But then we're talking about whether or not to do a top navigation with drop downs or keep the Hamby. And we think that we should do the top navigation and then have the Hamby menu just for mobile. Does anybody have objection to that?
I do not object.
What about you, Willie?
No, I think we definitely need to get away from the hamburger menus.
Yeah, I think the hamburger menu on desktop is unnecessary, and if everything's right there in front of them, there's nothing that people can complain about not being able to find stuff.
Well, it's just like if the attorneys can't figure out how to navigate a hamburger menu, then
yeah,
target market for attorneys probably won't be able to figure it out either.
Right. So these are some design ideas for the Hamby for mobile. This is a design that Lauren did, and we'll just do the same colors for everybody's site, just do it in grayscale so that we don't have to mess with it frequently, and then no links get left behind in the wrong color. And it'll always be the same. But yeah, so it's going to be more of a drop-down style Hamby menu, because then we don't have to worry about going to the next page and things looking weird. It'll always be right there. Everything's on the page for them to see when they're scrolling through the menu, and it'll all scroll. So I think it'll eliminate some of the issues that the developers have come into as well. And this is a design that, who was it that sent this? Was it JHS that sent this site, and they said they liked their design?
It can site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this menu is a drop-down style, and it basically blacks out everything so that
you're focusing on the menu.
Yeah, you're focused on the menu. It's not busy looking, and you've got tons of space to add menu items. So do you guys like this design, Willie and Casey? Something like that, at least?
You're talking about the AI design or the JHS proposed design?
The JHS drop-down one.
Oh. Yeah, I think it'd be a huge improvement.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And let's see. So the ATF, we think that the CTA should have a modal pop-up for the form. And that's also in the footer notes as well. But it'll be more like a small square pop-up with the form, and not something that comes full screen, because it's easier to navigate, and then you can still see exactly how you get back to the site. Because right now our pop-up fills up the entire screen, and it's just the footer form row, but it just pops up instead of scrolling down to it.
Hey, real quick, going back to the menu thing.
Yeah.
What was decided on the drop downs? Is that going to stay, or is it going to be like, we were talking about the other day in the huddle?
What do you mean?
Okay, so like one of the confusing things for half was that like you click on the drop down, but then that drop down item itself is a page. So is the plan to make that drop down item a non-clickable thing, and then all the pages should be in the drop down itself, or what's the plan there?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best move to have it separated. Lauren and Kim, what's your input on that? Because remember we talked about how like, you can't click on the page or you can't click on the drop down without going to the page.
Yeah, that's that. The menu that you shared in the document looks like it has a lot of space because it's got the columns for everything. But yeah, I would agree. I would make the if there's a drop down, I think it should be non-clickable because I think it's redundant to click it and it has a page with the same menu items or something.
Yeah. The only thing, so with drop downs like this, when you hover over it, that's when it drops down, if it's going to have a drop down. So you technically could still be able to click on those menu items. You know what I mean? Because once you hover over it, you'll see that there's more menu items below it. And then if you wanted to just go to meet our attorneys, you could click on that.
Okay, but I guess the question is like, what's the most intuitive thing? Like when you see a drop-down menu, do you assume that the item itself is a menu item, or do you assume that, it's not? It's just like this is how I open the drop-down.
I have a question.
Okay.
Related to that.
All right.
You know, we have little arrows pointing down.
Yeah.
Since they know that all the menu items on the list are clickable, Lauren and I were talking about it in the huddle before this, how sometimes with these hover menus, when you hover, then you hover away, it disappears. What if they're brought up on click instead of on hover? Because they're going to click it anyway. They know it's a page. Like, it's a universal thing to click on something. And this way, once it's clicked, it's activated. You can't accidentally deactivate it.
Right. I don't know, because I've seen it both ways on sites. I feel like for a drop-down menu, it should be on hover.
When you hover over it, then it drops down like automatically?
Yeah, so you know that a menu is there no matter what, because otherwise, I don't know.
I feel like that's annoying, because like you accidentally pass your cursor over and there's something like a big...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For a big menu, it might be a good idea to have it clickable.
Yeah.
Hoverable. If it were a little menu with like maybe like 6 items, then that's understandable. But for like something that big, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that because when I hover over something, I'm looking for it to drop down. You know.
To be honest,
with you, Sarah.
To be honest, I don't think a menu should have more than one sub-level. Like once you click over hover over the top, those are the menu items, and that should be it.
Yeah, because with hovering, that's when it gets complicated when there's sub-levels. Yeah. And then so like I get so infuriated with like Wayfair, for instance, that I don't even use the sub-levels. I just search for what I need.
Right. Okay. So what's the consensus? Because this is the highly debated topic of this entire call is the menu. I don't know what is the easiest solution.
Whatever's the most user-friendly, I guess, for someone who's not on the website.
I'm trying to call in it. Let me send it. Did I just call him?
Is that Nick?
Yeah.
Did he call everybody or just me and Sarah?
I I didn't get any rings.
I wonder if he's trying to huddle up with us, Sarah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what Sarah looks like.
I'll drop off and answer it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I don't know. Casey, what's your opinion on hover versus click for a drop-down menu?
I'd say click because hover just creates added unwanted action to the site. Because if they hover and something happens, they'll be like, no, that's not intended. So a click is an intention and not a hover. So
Okay. Do we add an arrow?
Oh yeah, like we've been doing, like with AL, how it has a down arrow.
Okay.
That's some that to expect something. Although I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It seems complicated that you have to click on it for it to come down, because I would, like if I'm on a menu or on a site that has a menu on the top, I won't click on anything until I hover over the items to see if something happens. But that might be because I'm a designer developer, and I know that that's a common way to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if we should get people on the team that aren't designers and get like a general consensus.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of if you go to Amazon,
Yeah, let me go here.
they have departments, browsing history. They have the drop down, the arrow, but if you hover over it, it drops down. You don't have to click.
Yeah, you're right.
Theirs works really well though, like, and it has a delay, which is good. Well, not really actually, but they do grow out the rest of the site on the bottom.
I do like that they have an arrow for ones that have drop downs, and then they don't
Yeah,
for ones that don't.
Right.
their menus work really well though. Most sites don't work this well. They have nice menus.
Yeah, Amazon navigation is really well done.
Yeah.
I know because I'm on it every day.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I usually know exactly what I'm looking for, so I always use their search. I never really notice their menus.
Right. Yeah. I guess the only time I ever use their menus is when I'm looking for something and I don't know what I want yet. Like if I'm looking for a book and I don't know what book I want. I'm just browsing. All right.
But yeah, I don't think that our clientele will know that that arrow means click to view drop downs.
What if,
I guess if it doesn't have a hover, it shouldn't have an arrow. Because they're going to click it like they would a page, and instead of loading a page, it'll just load a menu if we go with the click. If we go with the hover, then yeah, it needs the down arrow. That reminds me, I didn't design the drop-down menu for AL's site yet.
okay, so
I'm going to make it a separate document, though.
I think it should have hover drop down, but I think you should still be able to click on the original menu item.
yeah,
And it brings you to a page.
that's the trouble. If we make them all clickable, then you can't click on the link to, I don't know. I'm conflicted about it because I know that our clients have complained about when you click on something and it goes to the page instead of.
Well, okay, for instance, right, if it's practice areas and they click it, do we have a landing page for practice areas?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
On some sites, but they're useless pages that shouldn't even.
I feel like it's extra junk.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like that's my what's the word I'm looking for, my nightmare, because some clients have them and they like them and they want them there, and some clients don't even really notice it when they shouldn't be there in the first place, because SEO wise practice area pages are a big no-no, because like sites with just link lists, even if even if it's just not the URLs, is a big no-no. So they're relatively pointless as far as navigation wise and SEO wise. And some people we just shouldn't have it. We can have like the rule. What we should have is practice areas as a custom link that's blanked out so it's nothing, so it's compactable, and then just a list of their top 12 practice areas, and that's it.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a lot of anger.
No, that's good to know that.
It's a PTSD from dealing with going back and forth on that.
Yeah, I didn't know that about SEO, so that answers that question then, because I know
Yeah.
Nick will
Yeah.
agree.
So you're saying, Casey, not to have that page clickable, to not
Yeah.
have it at all.
Yeah, as far as practice areas go, it should be a no. And if they want one and have one, just kind of push back and tell them that it's not really helpful.
Yeah. Here's a good question. How many of our pages that are parent menu items actually are pages? Like, how many actually click to a page?
It depends on client to client, but mostly it's the About Us page, or the attorney's page. That's the big parent. We reduced our practice areas page, which is practice areas, and just a list of just like their top 12 or their top 10. So it should really just be practice areas and just the whatever the About or the attorney's page is. And sometimes under the About, they have just a hodgepodge of stuff. Sometimes they have, scholarship pages and things like that.
Okay. So maybe we try to eliminate pages that, like, About obviously needs its own page, but maybe we call it something different under the About tab, so it's not clickable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a tab, like something like, our firm, or, learn about our firm, something like that. Like About could be under there, contact could be under there.
Yeah. All right. So then if we're doing it that way, that it's like the parent menu items aren't pages if they have drop downs, then I'm fine with it being opening on click. So that's something we have to be firm about. We have to make sure that we have different page titles for those items.
And we're killing the flyout menu, right?
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank God. Okay, so that's what we'll go with then. It'll be no parent menu items are clickable, and if they have a page, it's inside the submenu. Okay. And what else did we say? So the design that Lauren did has social icons in the mobile menu, like the Hamby menu. We said that it's probably not good to do it though in a top level menu because it's a link that they can click off the site to. So it's probably best to keep those in the footer. Would you agree with that, Willie?
Can you repeat that?
So we have the social icons in the mobile menu in the Hamby.
Okay.
In that design. But we're saying that we shouldn't do it in the ATF on desktop because if it's there, then they might click off the site and
yeah.
do
yeah, I mean, I don't think that the icons need to be in the menu, no.
Okay. Should we just leave them in the footer and that's it? That's it?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Social. Okay. So for the ATF, we said, I was talking about the modal pop-up form that's just like a square that's just part of the screen, not a whole thing. So it'll make like the background of the site darker when it pops up, and then easy to click out of because currently the pop-up design takes up the whole screen and there's like a little X that you can hardly see. So people might get confused on how to get back to the site. And also,
If you do click away from it, it goes back to the top of the page rather than wherever you were at. So it's kind of annoying.
yeah, so it will just leave it so that it's like pops up and then goes away, and it doesn't take you back to where to the beginning. And then also in the ATF, we want to do designs more similar to AL's site. What was that note about, Lauren? I feel like I'm forgetting what that means. It's kind of a broad.
I think just in general, the design.
So the main point was we're just going to have settlements and not badges anymore. So badges will be either directly below the ATF or somewhere else on the site, like I think
right below like the first row of the BTF is probably a good plan to put them there.
Okay. We could create a new row that talks about their credibility,
It's kind of like what Shomo's got, where there's like a brief blurb about every badge or whatever.
And that actually makes more sense because the badges don't mean anything to anyone.
Yeah, the average layperson is not going to know what any of those badges mean.
Yeah. Okay, so then we'll say add credibility row. And we want that directly below the ATF?
I think it makes sense there. Or maybe like right below the practice areas row, one of those two places.
Yeah. Okay. Below practice areas. Okay. Well, and then the next thing is we want to. Okay, so in the BTF, we want to start moving towards solid backgrounds, not using pictures in the background as much, even though Lauren said she just sent the design to, was it Brock? And he really liked the Y hire row with the picture in the background. And
yeah, he said they'll change it.
We can use pictures in the background, like how Kim, you did with AL. It looks nice that way. But like to have them blocked, in blocks where it's like so obvious, it almost makes it look like the rows are, pieced together, not all designed to flow together. So we want to create more flow and have less blocky looking designs. So using lighter colored backgrounds with texture and not changing the color too much between rows. Plus lighter is more popular. All of our sites that have a lighter feel to them have been the ones that our clients want us to model after. So like DCL and I feel like Kinley is a little bit lighter in design. So yeah, that's what we were talking about with the BTF, just like all together. The practice areas we want to change, and this is something Willie and Casey, if you could weigh in on, we'd like to make it so that when you get to the practice areas, it's just the icon and the title, and then on hover, it pulls up the blurb. That way it doesn't look so crowded. It's an easier design to work with.
I understand that. Tom will not be a fan of that, though, for the same reason he doesn't like the text sliders.
Okay. Does it not?
Well, from what Tom has been investigating is that any text that's not like immediately visible that you got to click or hover to get to, it takes a lot longer for Google to index it. Apparently, okay. I think it does get indexed eventually, but it's kind of a crapshoot as far as like when it gets indexed.
Okay, so I can ask him for clarification and see if he has a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, if he's cool with it, it's fine with me. My gut is that he won't like it, but you can always ask him and see what he says.
Okay, because we were running into this issue as well with design, and it's just, it takes up so much space, and we could pick just make the design look a lot better. And we were looking at other lawyers' sites, and I know that they probably aren't doing it as good as us, where they don't know that the site's not being crawled as fast. because of the hover effects, but it looks pretty common that their practice areas are icons, and when you hover, you get more info and then a learn more button.
I think some of our sites have that on them too. But yeah, just ask Tom what he thinks about it. If he's cool with it, it's cool with me.
Okay. Cool.
Just ask him if he thinks it's going to be an indexing issue.
Yeah. All right. Next is the jump link section. So Willie, you're saying you think that we should keep the call button?
It doesn't necessarily need to be a button, but putting the phone number there is a good idea.
Okay. So we can design it some way so that,
I mean, it could just be like a one box across there that just says like, call this number or click here to set up a consult.
okay. Yeah.
Whatever you guys think looks better.
Yeah, we just felt like the design needed to change a little bit. Lauren, Kim, if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, I agree with keeping the number, but it doesn't need to look like a button as long as it is clearly visible.
Yeah, it can all be one button,
Mm-hmm.
It seems like people are more likely to call than they are to fill out the form is the thing. So we definitely want to have the number there and available.
Right. And I think that, this design, the way it is, I think we're running into responsive issues anyway. So probably not having it so massive, or if it is massive, that it could be responsive. Better responsive, more responsive. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Also, the way we want to do the new menu, the phone number, I think will be more obvious since we're going to do a solid background.
Wait, what?
For the menu on scroll,
Oh, yeah.
it's not going to be transparent anymore, so that phone number is going to stand out more.
Right. And it'll always be there.
Yeah.
So the menu we also wanted to make sticky at the top on desktop so that as you're scrolling, it's still there. And it'll have a solid background. Solid or slightly transparent.
And much smaller than it is right now.
Okay. And then we also talked about the functionality of the jump link section has not been very good. After doing it on a couple sites, we want to make the links a lighter weight font because it looks pretty like filled with all of those links. So if it's a lighter weight font, it'll look a little bit nicer. And then as you scroll through, it'll highlight those items as you're scrolling past them. So, and that's just a development thing. They just need to add IDs to each section. And
Casey, on the jump link menu, when you set that up, I think it would look better too if you made the menu items shorter. Like instead of doing the entire H tag, just like do a keyword from it, like compensation or accident causes, that kind of thing, rather than the entire headline.
yeah,
Okay.
That would help. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of room on the left for the whole line.
I mean, just abbreviate them somehow.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense. I've been wondering how to make that look a little bit better. That's a good idea.
Yeah, 'cause most of those headings are like built for SEO purposes, and the menu doesn't need to be built that way.
Yeah, sure.
And it'll be best that we don't have to have scroll on that because it kind of defeats the purpose of having it easy access right there. Because currently some of the menus go below the actual screen height, so then you have to scroll through the side menu. And then we want to add smooth scroll to that section so that when you click through the menu items in the jump link section, they don't jump, they just scroll down. What else? Okay, that piece is important to discuss with the title. Currently gets covered when you jump back up to the top. So the footer, we were talking about making it a bit more functional and adding more navigation to it, because when I go to a site, and we were discussing it both Kim and Lauren felt like when you go to a site and you're looking for something, you can't find something. When I get frustrated, I go straight to the footer to check and see if there's what I'm looking for there. And right now, our footers are just they just have a little bit of information. They've got sitemap, the privacy policy, right? And then social links. So we could add some quick links down there for, like the main navigation links to get to where we want to go. If you're at the bottom of the page and you don't want to go back up to the menu, or you're not sure what you're looking for, that's usually a place where people can find what they're looking for. So it's called, what was it called? Fat menu or fat footer. That's what the type of design is called, but it'll just make it so that it's a bit larger. It'll have more information in it, and we kind of wanted to make it so that the locations are there, but like more integrated into the footer and not like its whole section, because they're kind of gigantic right now. I wish we had added an example. Lauren, did you save any of those links to examples of footer that we liked?
So the one from our ping.
Yeah. And then the other thing was to get rid of the step form and go back to a regular form, because just like with the menu, it needs to be so easy that anybody can do it. Do you have any objection to adding more links to the footer, Willie or Casey?
No, I mean, it'll probably get to Casey what it gets put down there, I suppose, but as long as we're keeping it kind of minimal, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it would be like about, contact us. What other things?
I guess that would be the ideal place if we wanted to put a practice areas page, would be down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would make it like the most important ones.
Yeah, we could do like
That way we could still make clients happy that have those practice area pages and still have it on the home page to make it, like you said, more easy to navigate.
We could do like a header that says practice areas and have that underlined, and then below it have like the top whatever, 5 or something, and then have another column with quick links, and it would be like about and contact us, locations, that kind of thing, and then social links, phone number, and locations, and make it more of a compact footer design. We could still do the form separate and not in the footer. It would be like above the footer. We'll comp it out and obviously see what you guys think before moving forward with it. But
so the form is kind of like where it's at right now, just basically, right?
Yeah, the form will stay the same, I think, but we're going to get rid of having the results thing next to it and having it like 2 separate columns that are like totally different design. It'll be more like of a, what were you guys saying? You wanted to do something else with it, right? Not just the form by itself.
Well, I think it depends on the client, but like for a client that doesn't have results, I think just having a nice wide, like how Lauren did it, maybe more full screen form where it's just like there. But I think it is kind of a good idea. I think we were talking about it when we first, Sean first came up with that design. It is quite cool to have like the results right there. Just so it's like, okay, if they're kind of trying to decide between 2 lawyers, they see this guy's results and like probably he has more enticing results, they might be more inclined to contact him.
Yeah.
That's just the thought. I mean, it's not really, I feel like it's not a necessity. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
Of all the things that Sean came up with, I do think that one makes the most sense, where it's kind of like adding more proof at a stage where they're kind of like they're about to pull the trigger but haven't quite done it.
Yeah.
So I think that it just needs to be a better design, because currently it's
very separate.
it looks too blocky. So making something that kind of goes like it just has more flow, like it was designed not separately, but as
Exactly.
you know.
So you're thinking it should be like full width, but just both things kind of integrated so the form
Yeah,
is
that's what I was
centered.
thinking earlier.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that the form be more centered rather than on one side.
Right.
Because it's not a big form. I mean, it's very simplistic.
Right.
If it was one of those big, intense forms, then yeah, but it's so simple that we could do that easily. And then I guess in smaller reses, it could stack. Like we could design it where, you know, if you're on a really small laptop before it jumps to mobile, that it would look okay stacked instead of side by side.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then for inner pages, we had lots of clients ask for different header images. And what we were thinking is we could potentially do 3 to 4 image options for, you know, their most important practice areas they want to focus on. And then have one header image that's just the attorney or a great picture of their office or something like that for the other pages that, you know, don't apply to, you know, like medical malpractice or car accident or, you know, any of the other ones that we would have a specific image for. And then that would be, they would just be set up as separate templates, I think. We wouldn't make it so that you could like decide whatever picture you wanted to put in because those images have to be sized and made responsive. Otherwise, they'll be janky. They won't work with development. So
How about using like different pictures of the firm for all these or what?
they would be like stock images. And like for Brock, he was asking for pictures of, what was it, Lauren? Like, what did he ask for?
Like his paternity page, he wanted pictures of father and son or that kind of thing. And someone else asked for it in the past too, and I forget who it was.
Yeah.
But like subject related pictures so you know what page you're on.
Yeah, with the family law stuff, that's probably not bad. I'd be hesitant to do that on some of the personal injury stuff. Like there's a line of thought on with the conversion side of it, where if you put like a car accident's probably a pretty traumatic event, right? So if you stick a picture of a car accident like in the ATF, it automatically puts the prospect into a bad frame of mind because they're reminded of the trauma. So that may be something we just need to kind of steer them away from and kind of explain why they don't want to do that. Generally speaking, like the pictures that make it clear that they're on a law firm site, and you know they got a picture of the lawyer there looking all like, you know, commanding and powerful or whatever, you know, or competent, or just, you know, that'll make them feel better than like a picture of what caused their trauma. You know, this guy or person's going to help me out. You know, whereas I'm looking at a car accident, you know, oh, I lost my legs in a car accident. Great. Yeah.
Okay. So then maybe we want to just make this an option for firms.
Like, for example, you put in a criminal defense, like for example, our first designer, we did a criminal defense site, and on the sex crime page, you know, the criminal defense lawyer is going to be defending the person accused of a sex crime. On that page, he put an image of this little girl huddled up like this, all terrified. And so the person accused of a sex crime lands on this page, and they see a picture of like, an alleged victim, and they're like, "Oh, this is not where I need to be."
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, or they would put like pictures of like police sirens and prisons all over the place. Like
the drug one was like, I think had lines, like cocaine lines on it.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And it's like yeah, this is putting the prospect in the right frame of mind to sign up for this lawyer for sure.
That is so funny.
So that's something you got to think about when you're talking about ATF images. You know, is what kind of impact does it have on the prospect's state of mind?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, pictures of the attorney looking all competent and knowledgeable and comforting is going to make them feel better than like what caused their problem.
Right. That's true.
I get that it's related to the subject area and everything, but lawyers don't usually deal with happy shit, so you got to keep that in mind too.
Okay. So then
I know. Was it GM and county where you can add in text above the image, so you can add in like the law, like picture of the lawyer and stuff, and you can add in a custom whatever text you want. So you can make that text applicable to the CTA text applicable to whatever page it is.
Yeah,
So that's what
that we've added functionality for with the newer sites. I think the most recent one was LH that we did that for.
Yeah, I think DCL had it too, maybe, or Kind. I forget which. I get those correct.
Yeah, it was mostly the sites from the Jim Cunard days before Sean. I think they were using Hero Block for that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so with that, maybe we would only offer that to attorneys like Brock that want images because they would work, right?
I'm still hesitant. I'm even hesitant to do it on family law. 'Cause, somebody's getting divorced. They may not want to be getting divorced, and they say it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Well, you can because what if you have a child custody and the photo is a mom hugging the child when it's the dad going on the page, or vice versa. You never know who's going to access that page. So no matter what it's on there, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, well,
yeah.
like, oh.
I mean, in general, I feel like the other way is going to convert better. It'd be nice to do some A/B testing on it and get some actual data on it. But that is the train of thought on that whole thing.
Okay. So should we scratch that for now?
Unless we want to do some testing that disproves it, I would say that the better way to go is like shots of the attorney, and because it puts the person in a better frame of mind.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
But plus, I guess it focuses on the results and not what the cause is.
Yeah. Do you guys know how you strike through something on Google Docs?
I think it's Alt-Shift-5.
That sounds right.
Something, I remember it's super random.
Nope.
Control-Shift-5?
Ready command for you.
Oh, you're on a...
Yeah, she's on a Mac.
Yeah, Mac, sorry.
I was like last night I was working on my iMac, or not iMac, MacBook Pro, and I kept hitting Control, like, wait a minute. Oh, it's Command. Why isn't it undoing?
Yeah, it's not working for me for some reason. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know what it is on Mac, but it is Alt-Shift-5 on PC.
I found it in the menu. Okay. So we want to keep the headlines editable for all the upcoming sites. We want to start comping the about pages because currently we're just kind of letting the developers throw them together and they end up looking kind of janky, like Nico.
Well, Nico is previous dev, so is whatever images were on the old site, and they just added it, moved it over, and that's why it kind of looked janky. I don't think anyone's touched it at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that we need to comp about and contact us pages because they're, I think, pages that people go to frequently. So I think that if we have a good design for those that we use on every site, I mean, they just very simple and clean, but so that we know what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, just old janky dev.
Yeah,
over.
For sure. And then also we want to work on a better sidebar design, something a bit more modern and less boxy, better functionality, more simple, because currently it's just as confusing as the menu, unfortunately. And also I don't know if you and Willie have talked about this before, Casey, but the sidebars also just need to have just the most important stuff in them, I feel like, because there's just so much in them.
Well, I try to divvy them out because when we first get my process is, it's not a perfect process. I'll be the first to admit, is when you first get a location. So you get Indianapolis and you make one for that location. And then as that grows, you start to divvy it out into different silos. So you do car accidents, Indianapolis car, and then you do Indianapolis workers comp, and you Indianapolis pill, and you try to consolidate as much as you can for those ones.
Yeah.
The sidebars would definitely not be a most important pages sort of thing, because the idea of the sidebars is that there's a sidebar for every silo. So like you have the most important pages in the top nav, and then like car accidents, for example, has its own unique sidebar where all the car accident pages go into. Now there are a shit ton of pages on some of the sites that make the sidebars obscenely long, and that is an issue. One of the ways we're fixing that is to do the funnel with the content, where they get fewer pages per month as we progress. So like one of the reasons why some of those silos are just huge right now is because we were doing 10 pages per month, and after 2 years of doing content for a client, you went up with an absurd number of pages. But that's neither here nor now, because that doesn't fix the problem with the clients who have that. But I think if we can have drop downs, that can help that a lot.
Yeah.
Because some of the sites don't have drop down functionality on the sidebar, especially the older ones.
Right.
So as long as we can divvy that stuff up into like subsections, we can turn those into drop downs that are more manageable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because I'm looking like right now at Nico's site, and I'm looking at their about page, and their sidebar has testimonials, case results, about the firm, and then each individual person in about the firm. And it would be better if there was a drop down from about the firm, so that because right now it's just a bunch of names.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Levent's new site had, because they're one of those people that had a lot of pages, and he had drop downs, and it was able to mitigate that issue relatively well.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to that design. I thought that's what we were doing with all the sites moving forward, but oh well. Anyways, we're gonna make the sidebars look a lot nicer and more functional, so that when you do add sub-menu items, they won't be open all the time.
Okay, that's good, because that's been a problem in the past. I haven't been able to
less, and it comes down.
Yeah, like JHS's site, I think you can't close them up, and so some of theirs are absurdly long.
Or Spencer Callahan. Whew, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll make those drop downs. All right. What else? Okay, so we were thinking maybe adding a search bar. It would be in the footer on desktop, and then in the Hamby menu on mobile. And it would just have to be the most simple type of search, where it pulls up a search results page. I mean, there's plugins for it that make it really easy. If we find a good plugin that like actually gives you the right results, I think that it would be worth it, because I think with some of our clients, they have tons of pages, and you probably wouldn't find what you're looking for unless you searched for it, especially with blog posts.
Is it possible to get a search function with predictive text that only predicts the page, that only pulls the page titles?
We did have that with the one that Sean made, but it did not work. It was broken from the very beginning. And then we continued to put it on the site, even though it wasn't working. So if we could find a plugin that does it, I don't want the developers spending time on it, though. I think that it's a waste of time if they're going to have to make their own search thing, and it probably just won't turn out as good as if we got a plugin that allowed us to style it how we want, that populates the search results. So if you have any input on that, as far as what the results come up with, do you think predictive text is the best way to do it, so that it's not a page that comes up, but just like a drop down with the most relevant results?
Yeah, I think predictive text might help, because if they start typing in a question, it'll pull up that question, a link to that question, or if they're searching for a specific practice area page, it will like start populating those practice area pages.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Maybe I'll have Ollie do some research on that. He would like to do that. So that's a possible addition to the site, is search bar. So it's not set in stone yet. If we can find a good plugin to do it, then we'll move forward with it. On this note, both Brock and JHS mentioned they've noticed everyone else is doing the put all the badges and settlement amounts in the ATF to look super aggressive, and they want to be different. I don't know why that ended up down here. So anyways, that was just a note on switching to just having settlements in the ATF. So that's that. And then we had a couple of questions. We've found that it might be easier if we can get content before we design. I don't know if that's possible because I know it would change up our process a lot. But if we could design for the content, then our designs would turn out a lot better.
Actually, that was the way we're kind of doing it before.
Yeah.
We'd bring it over because I can do about 70% of like the content in the back end, you know.
Right.
So it's as long as I make it pretty on the back end. A lot of
the same thing here. Like, are you talking about the homepage content or the site?
Homepage content.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about internal pages.
I mean, but it would still be good too to have the content in the internal pages because then, you know, as Ollie is working on developing Ollie and Danish, but you know, all those issues that we're having with the styling of things, if it's already there and the problem's there, then Ollie will know he has to fix it before he sends it over to us because the issues will already be there as he's developing. So I don't know. It might not be as necessary for the internal pages, but for the home page, it would be really nice if we already had the content because like a lot of the times the amount of text that we have, like the lorem ipsum that we put in for sections is shorter than what we end up getting. So it throws off the design, the height of a section or whatever. So it's
usually the same. It's usually exactly the same every time.
Well, it's not the same as what we comped.
I have noticed some variations. Sometimes it's in title text. A lot of times it's in the title text. I'd say about 90% of the title text is longer than what's comped out in the on the site that's replaced out.
The practice area icons, those are fine. Those are usually perfect.
Those are spot on.
Yeah. Sometimes the about section is a little bit longer for some.
Also, the clients ask for like I've had a couple ask me, what's this title going to be? And so I think the titles is a big thing. And then Brock asked me, what's the difference between About Us and Why Hire? And
yeah, that's always a tough one. Actually, the reason why we ended up doing those sections is because Sean just randomly picked them, and I just had to adapt to it.
I totally BS'd it, and he was like, "Oh, that was a really good explanation." I said that About Us is like about your background, and Why Hire is your specialties. I don't know.
Yeah, that's more or less what I wind up doing is that the About section does tend to talk more about like their awards and their background and crap like that. And then like the Why Choose section tends to be more about like their results and how they treat their clients and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you explained it really well." I was like, "Okay." I don't know if it was right, but
well, I mean, as far as getting that content to you ahead of time, I mean, that just depends on like what stage you need it at. If it's going to be super early on, then basically, okay, so the writer queues are usually about 4 weeks out, at least 3 weeks out. So if you need it within 3 weeks of the client signing, that makes it pretty challenging.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we usually have 2 weeks between when the photo shoot is scheduled and by the time we get pictures, which is when we can really start the design anyway. I mean, I don't think we need it before we start the design, but I think before we deliver them, at least the BTF rows.
Yeah, so that way you can put it into the design so the developers know exactly how to space things, how it's going to look officially.
Yeah, so I guess what I would need from you guys is like some sort of date for each client as far as like when you want the content by.
Right.
And then we just have to see if it's going to be feasible as far as what's in the schedule
already. Yeah.
I mean, I can't promise it every single time, but we can try to make it work.
Could we just try it out with the next? I mean, we can't do it with any of the ones right now because
We could probably do it with Ricci.
you want to do it with Ricci,
Yeah, Ricci, we're gonna basically put up the first 1,000 words of text on the site anyway.
right? Okay, cool. Well, I think that that'll be a big improvement because I know that we've struggled with that before. I think it'll make things easier to design and for the guys to know what it's going to look like, because everything's different once the content comes, and then we have to go back and fix things for the content. So I think it'll probably cut down some of our time a little bit too. What else was in here?
Okay, yeah, the chess question.
The one question that we're not sure if this is something we can do, but in the ATF, can we make the H2 bigger than the H1 so that we can feature like a tagline instead of the H1 text that we want the site for?
Is the H1 still in the ATF or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't see why that would be a problem, but I don't know either.
Okay.
That's totally gonna be up to Nick, I think. And I see he didn't respond to that yet, so.
Nope.
I don't think the size of text necessarily matters.
What about the order?
No, H1 definitely does have to be primary at the top.
Like
First.
the very first item?
H tag, correct. And
Yeah, it kind of tells Google, okay, this is the most important thing on the site.
yeah, this is the title. This is the title of the book. This is what it's all about. So the size, I don't think the size matters, but it's definitely have to be the first, and above the fold.
Okay.
I can probably still make the design work. Just move that smaller H1 to the top.
Yeah. Because what we've seen with a lot of sites, and even that one site that Tom said that he liked, they use let me pull up that site. Yeah. They use like a tagline or some kind of strong statement as the biggest thing on the page.
Yeah, that totally makes sense from a conversion point of view and just aesthetics and everything.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of times where SEO conflicts with conversion.
Yeah. So if we can make it work somehow that that the H1 is smaller and not the biggest part of the page, it'll open up a lot of opportunity for us with designing. So I guess we just need to get some feedback from Nick on that, and then figure out what we can do with it.
Yeah, they have their H1 in the first BTF row.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a good idea though.
Yeah, I know. And they have their like giant header at the top. It has the tag of, oh, it's just a paragraph. That's weird. Like it's not even an H2. They have it as a paragraph.
Yeah. I mean, size I don't think will matter.
Okay.
If you want the H2 to be bigger than the H1, I'm sure that's probably fine. But yeah, like Casey was saying, the H1 probably doesn't need to be above the H2, and it definitely needs to be in the ATF.
Okay.
I wonder the developers might be able to do it so that when they place things on the page, like in the hierarchy of the code, the H1 will come first, but they'll give it a certain amount of padding on the top so that it actually is styled below on the page.
I don't know. Like Sean did a lot of that kind of stuff too, and it really pissed off Nick and Tom. So I don't think I'd do that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
And it would probably get wonky too with resizing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's still going to take the crawlers to read all that before they get to the H1.
Okay.
Well, I'll wait for Nick to reply before I send those.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. Is there anything else, Kim and Lauren, that we talked about that didn't get touched on here?
Are we talking about maybe making the sites more individual to the client?
Oh, yes, that was the big thing. So Tom was asking if we could have more than one BTF row design. I having like 5 different options, which is, we could do that. But also now that we have Bootstrap, it's going to be a lot faster for the developers, and it really simplifies things. So we could potentially give everybody a unique site. So either way, we're going to be doing 5 different BTF rows. The next 5 clients are going to get unique sites. And then after that, we would reuse any of the ones that we did. But if we see how it goes, the next 5 clients, if it sets us back time-wise to be designing new sites every single time, then we don't need to do unique sites for everybody. But if it doesn't change the timeline, we would like to give everybody unique sites, because it would give us more versatility in the in our portfolio.
I don't know. That's a Nick and Tom question.
I'll have
I mean,
to.
yeah, my gut is that they'd be open to that. Tom would probably want to charge more for a fully custom site than for one that's just getting duped as far as rows go.
Right.
Even if it's going to take less time, he's probably going to want to be able to charge more for that sort of thing.
Right.
I mean, I assume it would take more time on the design front. I don't know.
I mean, for sure, it'll take a little bit more time. What's your input, Lauren, Kim?
Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, like if the pictures turn out that they don't work with the current design, it takes longer to make them work in a template than it would be to design something that fits them better.
Yeah. And more often than not, we kind of get photos.
Yeah. But
all right. Well, then I'll talk with Nick and Tom about their opinions on that as well. I mean, regardless, the next 5 sites are going to have to be unique sites. They're all going to be different if we're doing, different options for BTF rows.
That was an error, wasn't it? Like there was something outdated on the website that a prospect read, and the proposal was actually up to date.
Yeah, but Tom wants them all to have options now.
Okay.
That would be better. So, which I agree. I mean, if they have all the same design, we're not giving them anything special. It's,
Yeah, and like a lot of time we run into the issue if the client doesn't have certain things, we have to do some reworking anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, or if they have more than.
Right. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Lauren, do you and Sarah have the same chair?
yes, we do.
You?
Yeah,
I like that chair.
it's pretty comfy.
It is. Office
That
Depot.
one's from Office Depot. You might have a third one in the group.
I like that idea.
I love my chair, but it's starting to wear out. Like the leather, the bonded leather, like in the seat, is just coming apart.
Funny. All right, guys. I think that's it.
I have something.
What?
So on the home pages in the BTF, one thing we kind of got away from doing was putting those embedded maps down there. I know they're stupid. I know they look like. I know they're just like this. They like you see a map there and it's like, oh, it's a map of their office. Okay, that's great. They actually are really good for maps rankings. I'm not saying they have to be in the footer or anything like that, but like a BTF row just has like the embedded maps for the office locations. It actually is a good thing for maps ranking.
Okay.
Oh, actually, we did say we were gonna start comping a contact page too, right?
Yeah.
So would that work if we put it in a contact page?
It'd probably be more powerful if it was on the homepage.
Okay.
But we could do
It does not hurt to have it on the contact page as well. I would totally put it there.
I think Collie has both. He has it in the footer, and he also has on his contact page each office location with a map to each office. It's an old dev page, so it's not going to look that great. But yeah, that's where the contact page goes. But
like, I don't think the maps need to be in the footer on every page or anything like that. But yeah, just like a row towards the bottom of the homepage, it would be good for maps rankings.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can definitely work that in. We're redesigning everything, so we might as well, if it's something that works, has worked well in the past, we can add it back in.
Yeah, let's just make sure that when we put the maps, the actual embedded map in there, that it's a map from their GMB and not just their address.
Okay. That sounds good. So yeah, maybe we'll just make a locations row that has all their locations, and when you hover over them, it'll change the map, or when you click on them, it'll change the map.
Well, you'd want an embedded map for each location.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, like CSA, CSA splitter.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those SEO things. You know, it looks like shit, but it works.
Okay. Well, I leave that to you and Kim, Lauren.
I guess that's why they bury it in the footer, because it doesn't look that great.
Yeah, it is stupid, you know, like, but yeah, Google likes it for whatever reason.
Okay. We'll figure it out then. Anything?
Oh, I have one more thing.
Okay.
Menu items. At what point in the process of a new client do you know which pages they're going to have? Like, so I was doing Brock and making his menu, and I really didn't know what pages he should have in his menu, other than practice areas, drop down, and about.
Yeah, I mean, like, we usually know that, like, it's usually determined by their practice area, and if they have any quirks as far as like stuff they like and don't like. But usually within a week, we would probably know what pages would be in their top nav.
Yeah, and I usually pull if they're a new client, I'll pull our standards for practice areas, and then I'll just pull whatever they have over that's like the about us or attorneys or scholarships or testimonials or anything that's important.
Okay.
It really varies, but yeah, like Willie said, just about a week.
Cool. And do you guys like put that content somewhere that I can check, or like
Yeah, I mean, like
spreadsheet?
Generally speaking, if for some reason a page is going to be in the top nav does not exist yet, we'll probably make that within the first round of content.
Okay.
Anything else?
All right, quick question for Willie before we get off this call.
Yep.
For Nico's phone number in the OPM, and I noticed it's a different, I think his cell phone number is on the old ads. Which number should I use for him?
I think the one that's on the current demo is the one we're going with, and Glenn's going to turn it into a tracking number.
Okay, which one is that?
It's the one in the current demo. It's like 888-329 or something like that.
88329.
Let me see here.
Too many files open in Photoshop. (888) 329 0243.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just use that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, thank you. And include the one, of course.
Include what?
Include the one, of course. Because it's an 888 number.
Yeah, right. Yeah, anytime it's a toll-free number, we're going to get the one on there for people who are still using landlines for some reason.
Okay.
They're too dumb to realize that it needs the one to work.
I'm looking at CSA's jump link section. Willie, and the jump links aren't sticking on the side.
Do what? What do you mean they're not sticking?
So, well, maybe I need to refresh my cache. The menu isn't fixed on the side. It scrolls up to the top instead of staying on the side of the page. But I also probably need to clear my cache, so let me do that really quick.
Is this on the demo or is it on the live site?
Live site. Oh yeah, Willie, one more thing while I've got you on the phone. For Nico's about page, which page's content do we want to use? And can we get rid of the pictures of each office person on the about page, because it looks really messy unless we redesign it. I
What
think
was the deal with that one? Like they had 2 about pages or something like that?
Bio, and the one's bio, and the other one's about us with no hyphen.
Is the content significantly different other than the pictures?
yeah.
Yeah, on bio it's a little bit longer.
Which one's better?
I thought bio was a little bit better.
I mean, like go with the content that's better, I guess. And yeah, you don't need to keep all those pictures, I don't think.
Okay. The only thing
And there they might be a little different because I noticed there's some junk at the bottom of them I just cleaned out. So
okay. Hold on, let me pull up. There was something funny about the bio page. It says the first line is, if you need a will or divorce, we are not the law firm for you.
Okay.
Should we get rid of that?
It's yeah, I don't know why that they would open with that.
Yeah.
I think you'd want to open with like what your strengths are.
We cannot offer this for you.
Yeah.
It's not a good way to open.
Which
Okay.
page is that?
It's the bio page.
Okay. But that's the one we feel is the better page.
Yeah. Do you want me to send you both links so you can look at them?
Yeah, just shoot them over to me. I'll look at them real fast.
Sounds good.
Quick question for Sarah. Since we're all on the CSA page, you know how on the junk link section where you have to scroll? Is there a way where you have to scroll on the links?
Yeah.
Is there a way for him and for everybody else we could do one of those nicer looking scroll bars? Because that looks really.
I think instead when you go in and for which site?
CSA, correct swap.
Oh, okay.
We just need to make the menu items abbreviated rather than the entire headlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm on a smaller monitor and I still have to scroll. It looks absolutely terrible.
Okay.
Oh, Sarah, do we have somebody helping Ollie out on the table styling on that one?
Yeah, I need to get with him on it still.
Yeah, Oak requested that, so let's make sure we keep him happy and everything.
Okay, I'll just have him do the table styling that we did for the internal pages that we already did. Yeah.
I don't know. Like when I gave him that menu item, he basically just put a box around everything without doing anything else.
All right. Yeah, if you don't give specific directions, he just does.
Yeah, the fonts are all janky. There's no lines between cell walls.
Yeah. All right, I'll send him over a previous table styling for him to use.
Yeah, I'll try to get that up there as today if possible.
Okay. And Kim, did you finish up the iPad design for Ross?
I was working on the Nico stuff while we were on the call. I'll do that now.
Okay.
iPad design?
Yeah, because the pictures don't work for iPad. So when you're shrinking it down, it looks real bad.
Did Willie see the parody picture?
Yes, they would. I would really love to just put that up. He's out.
Yeah, lawyers.
They're so cuddly.
Lawyers from Spoon. That could be their tagline.
Yeah.
They work very well together.
Oh man. All right, guys. I think that's it. So, yeah. By the way, I cleared my cache and it's fine now. But Casey, would you be able to go into CSA and adjust the menu items on the jump links? So
yeah, I'll do it immediately after this meeting. So.
Okay, cool. And then I guess if you could, do you want me to make some Asana tasks for the most recent sites to go in and do those as well?
If you make one Asana task and just list all the sites, I can go through and just.
Okay, cool.
Just so I don't forget which sites.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have an individual task per site.
Okay, cool. Let me just write this down so I don't forget. All right. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this call. I think our new designs are going to be really great.
Yeah, bye. Thank you for scheduling this. I think it was really helpful and it's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we've just kept doing because we were doing them before, and we're all like, we don't like this.
Why are we still doing this? Cool.
And like another point, like Willie, you said that the about and why hire was just something that Sean did. So if you think there's something that could be better,
I'll get back to you on that one. Yeah, he just started doing that. I just had to adapt to it. I'm like, okay, that's whatever.
God, if you think there's any other way to do it, I mean,
I'm sure there are plenty of ways we could do it. So
yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it works okay. It's not terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not like it's bad. But if there's anything on the site like that that you don't, any of our sites that you don't like, and you're like, why are we doing this? We probably were doing it because Sean did it, and now he's not here, so we can do whatever we want with it. So let us know. Nobody will be offended, most likely.
I do think that why choose us sounds better than why hire us if we're going to keep doing that one.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have a good